We are told that our modern civilization represents the absolute peak of human achievement, but that narrative is challenged by the raw, massive structures left behind by supposedly primitive cultures. In Europe, we find the megaliths of Stonehenge. In Africa, the Great Sphinx and the pyramids of Giza tower over the Egyptian desert. In the Middle East, the Temple of Jupiter in Baalbek was built with stones so massive they dwarf modern equivalents. And in South America, the ruins of Tiwanaku show precision stone carvings that have endured for millennia. These ancient megastructures are made of stone that defies dating, built by unknown hands with a durability that outlasts almost any structure in our modern world. We are taught to label these cultures as primitive, yet their ability to engineer monuments that survive for thousands of years contradicts the idea of a simple, linear climb toward modern sophistication. To see why these structures are so problematic, we have to look at the timeline modern historians have established for our species. According to evolutionary theory, Homo sapiens first appeared in Africa roughly 200,000 years ago. In this model, humanity only became civilized at roughly 5300 BCE in Sumeria, leaving a massive gap of nearly 195,000 years where we supposedly achieved very little. But forbidden archaeology suggests this timeline is the result of a highly selective sampling of evidence. The research edited out of the official record suggests the history of civilized humanity reaches millions of years into the past, dismantling the historical paradigm we've accepted for generations. Curious, if we go to southern Iraq, the region universally accepted as the cradle of civilization, we find the first crack in this timeline. Historians use Sumerian records to date the dawn of man, but the Sumerians themselves claim their history was significantly older. This is the Sumerian king list. It is a meticulous, cuneiform record of rulers who governed the earth reaching back long before a legendary Great Flood. The list includes kings like Ubara Tutu, who purportedly reigned for 18,600 years. In total, these records track Earth's rulers back over 400,000 years, doubling the 200,000-year limit historians set for the existence of our species. Mainstream historians reject these texts as mythology because the dates they provide are impossible to reconcile with the established historical narrative. If ancient texts are too easily dismissed, we must turn to the physical fossil record, the supposed proof for our current timeline. Even here, evidence is not as clear-cut as we are told. Scientists have yet to find a single convincing transitional tonsil that represents a hybrid between apes and humans. Anthropologist Holly Smith attempted to clear up the confusion by analyzing the dental development patterns of various hominids. Her research indicated that while fossils like Homo habilis classify as apes, Homo erectus fossils align entirely with the dental patterns of modern humans. This reclassification has a staggering implication. Homo erectus appeared roughly 1.8 million years ago. If they were actually humans, our species has existed on this planet 9 times longer than we are told. When stripped of academic bias, the biological record suggests humanity is millions of years older than the conventional date. Physical evidence for this older timeline is routinely uncovered, only to be dismissed by archaeologists because the artifacts are found in the wrong geological layers. Consider the Venus of Willendorf, a figurine carved from Oolithic limestone that isn't even local to the site where it was found. It is dated to 30,000 years ago, placing high-level artistic expression 25,000 years before civilization supposedly began. Even more striking is a coin-like object discovered during a well boring in Illinois, brought up from a depth of over 114 feet. The Illinois State Geological Survey determined that the deposit containing the object is between 200,000 and 400,000 years old. We have to ask, who was minting coins and sculpting figures hundreds of thousands of years before mainstream science says civilized humans existed? This contradiction is maintained by what researchers Michael Cremo and Richard Thompson call the knowledge filter. Anomalous artifacts are not necessarily fraudulent. They are simply edited out of the historical record because they threaten the prevailing academic consensus. Author Graham Hancock argues that our accepted history rests on a highly selective sampling of research results that ignore any data that doesn't fit. Whether we are the descendants of apes, aliens, or lost civilizations is less important than discovering the objective truth of our origin. We should look at the evidence with an open mind. The true story of humanity is vastly older and more complex than the narrow timeline we were handed.